6 years before Abraham Lincoln was elected President of the United States, the Iowa State Fair was born. Yes, sir, 150 years ago. The fair drifted from town to town over the next 35 years before finally settling in Des Moines. And for generations, once a year, here they'd come. They'd scrub the kids, pack a couple of days' worth of provisions, hitch horse to leather to wagon, and head for the train station. Whole families off the farm, half the town out from the stores and homes, heading like kids for the ice wagon, heading for the capital city, and something even bigger, the Iowa State Fair. They'd come from all across that great neighborhood of Iowa to the state fairgrounds for a reunion of sorts, of special sorts, alive with the beat of competition's drum, to sell a tractor, take home a ribbon, Dad's hogs, Ma's pickles, Grandpa's fiddle, and kids showing off what they'd learned. The lure of the wonders and wizards on the midway. Special acts, balloonists, the daredevils, explosively choreographed train wrecks. And at the core, underneath all the trimmings, the best darn ag show in the country. Good things from the land and the hands that tend it. A rich, happy mixture of all the folks and their kids too. 90 trains a day brought them in. They'd come to a group of hills just a few miles east of the brand new Capitol building. Yep, 400 acres that would someday be surrounded by city on all sides. 1886, over 100 years ago. That's when Pioneer Hall went up. That and 56 other buildings in 10 weeks. And nobody scrimped in the building. A senator known for his integrity watched the buying. An architect oversaw the construction. And nearly every one of those buildings had a real coat of paint. An extra touch in those days. Proud? Well, I guess. Grand buildings in a setting with more outdoor space than most other fairs hope for. A breathtaking view of the countryside. Buildings with tiered roofs, rimmed with flagstaffs. And the march toward a unique, picturesque, big as all outdoors fairground plant was on. In 1902 came the Livestock Pavilion. 1904, the Ag Building. 1907, the Horse Barn and Swine Pavilion. The Administration Building in 1908. Most every building that exists now predates World War I. By 1920, the old fairgrounds look pretty much as it does today. Oh, the cars are different, the clothes are different, the streets are paved, but the buildings are the same. It's time and generations of families that have made the Iowa State Fair a historical trademark of the mint condition virtues that started this country on its way to prosperity. And now the fair, as an institution, stands for Iowa, its reputation, a tradition, a heritage, and a legend. The Iowa State Fair, the gigantic extravaganza of agri-country. It's everything a fair ought to be. Yes, sir, time has made the fair. But it's time that's robbing those grand old buildings of their utility, because the seasons change in Iowa. Summer shrugs into winter, winter thaws into spring, and buildings which have no air conditioning nor heating lose their mortar, crack from roof to floor, settle and slouch into crumbling foundations, just plain lose their dignity. The Youth Cattle and Sheep Barn and the Horse Barn, where countless Iowa youngsters have groomed their prideful best, desperately require new roofs. The Open Cattle Barn, where the greatest beef and dairy genetics in the world congregate to display their wares to thousands, in dire need of tuck pointing and brickwork. The Agriculture Building, one of the outstanding examples of exposition-style architecture in the world, suffers from rotting doors and windows. Electrical system upgrading is imperative in many buildings. While the fair itself gets bigger and better, the buildings are slowly crumbling away. While attendance is strong and maintaining its strength, the fair needs immediate financial assistance to support the burden of catch-up maintenance. At a time when there are more events to draw the crowds, the fair is stunted in its ability to move ahead with the sparkle, the elasticity that would attract new exhibitors and visitors. The Iowa State Fair, the trainer of our youth, the benchmark for fairs across the nation, the granddaddy of them all, is on welfare. The grand arena of agricultural producers waits each year to see what funds can be attained from the legislature. Dependent, existing on minimum maintenance. A lively soul in a worn-out body. In short, the fair's physical plant has been sadly neglected for lack of available funds. Full-scale renovation is now critical. Otherwise, a gradual shutdown of facilities is inevitable. Although the fair operates in the black, annual surplus funds are not enough to contain the damage caused by Iowa's harsh freeze-thaw cycle and the lack of timely maintenance. Legislative appropriations have not kept pace with need. Responding to the seriousness of the situation, the Fair Board has established the Blue Ribbon Foundation. This foundation has been granted a 501c3 tax-exempt status under the Internal Revenue Code. The mission of the foundation is to conduct a major capital campaign for the renovation and restoration of the Iowa State Fairgrounds, with a vision for the future. The long-term goal of the foundation is to raise $30 million over the next 15 years. The immediate goal is to raise $6 million in 1993-94 to meet the most critical needs. The foundation is busy seeking donors representing corporate sectors, small businesses, individuals, as well as pursuing historic preservation grants and government appropriations. In addition, the foundation is establishing special event activities and programs for planned giving and in-kind services. The fair's condition demands a revitalization, and it has to be done now. The sooner we act, the less the program will cost. The fair is ready. The cycle of generations has come full round. The idea, the spirited idea, has proven itself well over and over again. To hold back this thrust is to say no to over 100 years of history and to ignore the promise of tomorrow. It's not going to get any cheaper. The fair must remain a vigorous part of the Iowa tradition. Facilities must enhance fair events rather than encumber them. The fair must approach the 21st century well prepared and ready for the next 100 years. The Iowa State Fair is truly one of Iowa's greatest treasures. It provides a means for showcasing the talents and abilities of both individuals and businesses. It is a seed from which immeasurable economic impact grows. Yet, it is more, for it is an institution that fulfills dreams, captures the imagination, and bolsters the morale in young and old alike. It is an extremely important part of Iowa's culture, and it belongs to us all. Treasure our fair.